welcome to TA from L.A. Lindsey Rhodes, Dan Helly, and we are now just 4 days away from real-life playoff football. So much to talk about that we're going 3 wide with our analysts, Sean O'Hara, Reggie Wayne, and Chargers safety Trey Boston, all in studio. I know it is hard to go 3 wide when you have O'Hara there. He takes up a lot of room, but we're doing it anyway. And you're not kidding about there being so much to talk about. We will get to the games, but how about this? Marvin Lewis is coming back for a 16th season as Bengals head coach, and contractually speaking, a 17th season as well. The 15-year veteran of the Cincinnati sideline, who has yet to win a playoff game with the team, signing a 2-year extension today after weeks of speculation that 2017 would be his last year with the team. So how did the tide shift in this direction? Ian Rappaport is with us now. What are you hearing, Ian?
Well, all along when so many of us left Marvin Lewis for dead and thought it was going to be basically a mutual parting of the ways between Lewis and between Bengals owner Mike Brown, sources close to Marvin Lewis said, just hang on a second. First of all, the two do have a close relationship, and Lewis is going to get the chance after the season to state his case and figure out which direction they are going to go. They have been meeting for several days and now signed a 2-year extension to keep him with the Bengals. Meanwhile, Marvin Lewis has several staff decisions to make. Basically, everyone is out of contract coming up. They got to get that together. But what we do know, Marvin Lewis not going anywhere in Cincinnati.
0-7 in the postseason. No other head coach in NFL history has coached that many playoff games without a win. Of course, you could look at that a different way as we turn now to welcome in Reggie Wayne. Reggie, you could say that he at least has them as a playoff contender somewhat regularly, though not this year, and that is more than they were before him. What do you make of this news?
I think they like this roster, but not everybody can coach the guys on this roster. It's kind of hard to coach Vontaze Burfict, Adam Jones, Jeremy Hill. Those are some unique guys. So they want to keep everybody under that same circle, but those guys, Vance Joseph, Jay Gruden, Hugh Jackson, those guys end up re-signing or staying with their teams, former teams. So I think the ex-coach hang on just a little bit longer until one of these guys, are available, and then once they're available, they slide them right into the fold.
One could argue that him being the right coach for these guys is debatable, seeing as how they're not getting over the hump with these guys. So, again, the top story, Marvin Lewis is coming back for 2 more years, contractually speaking. Meanwhile, a former quarterback of his, Dan, is calling it quits. That's right. Just a day after losing their head coach to retirement, the Cardinals losing their quarterback as well, 38-year-old Carson Palmer, calling it quits after 15 seasons. Palmer was a 3-time Pro Bowler during his time with the Bengals, Raiders, and the Cardinals. Ian is back with us now. Palmer calling it quits, something that Arizona was prepared for this time around, since they were maybe worried a little bit about it last year as well.
Yeah, they definitely knew it was coming. When you spoke to people close to Carson Palmer, they knew it was coming as well. His body simply had been through enough, multiple injuries, and despite all that, a stellar 15-year career, earned $172.5 million, so he did just fine for himself. The Cardinals were moving on this year, trying to find a replacement for him, trying to find someone who would be their franchise quarterback for the future. They hoped to hang on to Bruce Arians, but they knew that either way, Carson Palmer was most likely walking out the door. He did that today, officially posting a letter on the team's Twitter account saying to fans, among other things, he would know when it is time, and simply, Dan, it is time.
All right, thank you, Ian. Back with you in just a moment. Now, one of the worst-kept secrets in NFL history, John Gruden saying today that he thinks he's being considered for the Raiders head coaching job, even though it's been widely reported for the last 2 days by Ian and everybody else that Gruden will be the Raiders' next head coach. Gruden told the Bay Area News Group that it is his understanding the team was interviewing candidates this week, and they will make a decision early next week. As for some other coaching news today, Josh McDaniels going to be interviewing with Indianapolis on Thursday. The Broncos have decided to retain their offensive coordinator, Bill Musgrave. Arizona going to interview in-house candidate, defensive coordinator James Bettcher. And Detroit slated to interview Pat Shurmur for their head coaching position. All right, back with Ian now for some more coaching news. The Steelers said that offensive coordinator Todd Haley, who could very well be a head coaching candidate here, returned to work after what they are calling a fall, but there's a little more to the story. What can you tell us?
There is a little more to the story. I'm told that Todd Haley was actually involved in 2 instances on New Year's Eve at a Pittsburgh area bar, actually right near the stadium. First of all, according to a Pittsburgh police spokesman, there was a minor scuffle involving Todd Haley's wife. That happened inside the bar. There were no injuries for Haley there. Outside the bar, I'm told, Haley was shoved to the ground by a person who has not yet been identified. At that point, he suffered an injury to his hip, and it is not known at this point whether or not Haley is going to be able to be on the sidelines or if he'll have to be in the booth for the playoff game coming up in a couple weeks. Police have been involved and are looking into this.
Haley been the offensive coordinator of Pittsburgh since 2012. Thank you, Ian.
Now, as for the games this week, we've got 8 teams in action this weekend. 2 games per conference, 2 games per day. The AFC games both in the early slots. Titans Chiefs at 4:35 on Saturday. Bills Jags at 1:05 on Sunday. Then on the NFC side, the late game, Panthers Saints 4:40 on Sunday. Falcons Rams in prime time on Saturday. And for more on that matchup, we turn now to Tiffany Blackman in Flowery Branch.
Quarterback Matt Ryan is set to make his 6th postseason appearance, and everyone has long commented on how calm, cool, and collected he is. Well, he shared with us today that that's what his older brother was like growing up, and that's what he wanted to be like. But it didn't all click until he went to Boston College, and that's where his offensive coordinator, Dana Bible, helped to shape him into who we now know as Matty Ice.
He always talked to me about, getting your heart rate down and starting to breathe and relax and just execute and playing comfortably. And I'll never forget that because I used to get so fired up before games and excited. And, it really doesn't serve you well as a quarterback. You've got to make decisions. You've got to be, very efficient.
The challenge on Saturday will be up against this Rams front 7 that has the likes of Aaron Donald. And this Falcons offensive line is going to be without starting left guard Andy Levitre. He's been placed on IR after re-aggravating a left triceps injury. So Ben Garland will get the start. Also on the injury front, running back Devontae Freeman didn't practice on Tuesday with a knee injury, as well as receiver Julio Jones, who's dealing with an ankle and rib injury.
That Falcons offense, one of the best in the league. LA's offense, literally the best in the league, 29.9 points per game on average. So the defenses are going to have to be good. Reggie, Rams D first. What do they need to do to stop this Falcons O?
Well, simple and plain, listen. You have to find out where Julio Jones is, and you have to stop him and keep him from going. Let me show you what I'm talking about right here. Here you have your classic 2-man defense. You got help over the top if you're the corner. You have to stay inside technique, but it's important. It is imperative for you to be aggressive at the line of scrimmage at the beginning. Reroute him. Don't give him an easy run release. Make him stop his feet and get going. You got inside. Don't let him get inside of his 2-man. Play trail technique. Mess it up for the timing with Matty Ice and Julio all game. Make him work for every inch of the grass.
And don't let Julio do that to you. That's the interception.
Now you have single high. You got your help on the inside. Now you can play a shade on the outside. Right here, like I said, you got to get your hands on Julio here. You can't let him get a free release. You have to make him work for every play, every catch. Right here, Marshawn Lattimore does a great job. He does such a great job of redirecting him. Even if Julio Jones catches this pass right here on 3rd and 5, he will not get that first down. Because what he did, he was aggressive at the line of scrimmage. He made him redirect himself. And now as a receiver, you panic and you run your route a little shorter, and it makes it hard for every catch.
So what you're saying is you got to put your hands on him. I like it.
You got to get him off.
Hand-to-hand combats at the receiver position.
What about the other side of the ball? How do the Falcons stop the Rams?
Well, I love Reggie's talking about putting hands on people. Well, you got to block people. There's a defensive tackle that could wreck this game. You might be thinking I'm talking about Aaron Donald, but I'm not. I'm talking about Grady Jarrett for the Atlanta Falcons. The Rams' offensive line has been really good, but I want to show you this guy right here. Now, this is against Cam Newton, right? You're always expecting Cam to run. But watch him play peekaboo right here with the right guard, Cecil Tolley.
Peekaboo.
Right? He's just baiting him right now. He's saying, go ahead, Cam. Break out there. Shed, make the tackle. Grady Jarrett stopping the run. All right? You stop the run, you get a chance to get out to the quarterback. And that's what Grady Jarrett does a pretty good job of here, too. Now, watch this bad move, Reg. He's going to fake the twist.
Oh, no, don't fake the twist.
That's just a little bit of a look outside. He's saying, watch out for that twist.
And slips.
And, yep, he falls for him. He fell for the rope-a-dope. You get pressure in the A-gap like that, that's exactly how to disrupt a quarterback. Now, this right here
Every center's been here, all right? But Grady Jarrett has the quickness right here to backdoor the center, Ryan Khalil, and still make the tackle right here on Christian McCaffrey. So Grady Jarrett, yeah, Aaron Donald's pretty good, and he can wreck a game. Grady Jarrett can do it as well. Jamon Brown, the right guard, John Sullivan, the center, and left guard Roger Saffold. He's only allowed 1 sack all game. But when you look at the Rams, in Jared Goff's 4 losses, he was sacked 8 times. So if you can get pressure right up the A-gaps, if you can get pressure on Goff right in his face, now all of a sudden it changes the game.
And we saw Grady in last postseason last year.
Yeah, he went off.
He made some noise. So
could have been the Super Bowl MVP if they didn't.
So you're talking about Grady Jarrett, the fact that he's been to the Super Bowl before. You're talking about the offensive line for the Rams. Interesting note. There are 2 players on that offensive line, Andrew Whitworth and John Sullivan, that are the only 2 starters on the entire offense that have ever been to a postseason game. So we'll see how that impacts this matchup.
Eva.
There could be some major drama unfolding in Dallas regarding Dez Bryant over the next couple of months. Bryant is one of the highest paid receivers in the game, but he hasn't had a 1,000-yard season since 2014. Despite the lack of production, Bryant said recently that he would not take a pay cut to stay in Dallas, something team COO Stephen Jones was asked about during a radio interview today.
You know, that's one obviously we'll be looking at. I know Dez, had a frustrating year. It was frustrating to him. When he's frustrated like that, I don't necessarily know that he performs at peak levels when he's distracted. Game, look at every situation that he's involved in and see what is in the best interest of everybody.
If the Eagles are going to advance in the playoffs, they're going to need to get a better performance out of Nick Foles, their backup quarterback, of course, thrust into the QB1 role when Carson Wentz went down with a torn ACL. And the results have not been great. Mixed. Foles, in his 2 most recent outings, has been subpar at best. Here is head coach Doug Peterson.
Listen, it's a 1-game season, and it's hard to be in desperation mode, but if you're in that mode, who knows? I do know this: it's not about one guy. One guy. It's about